this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite. A show where they've definitely slowed down. I mean, people I was chatting with were saying the show feels low energy, and I think it's because they've been crash TVing it for the last 2 weeks. They needed this show. They need a show that set up things and set up different things and paid some things off. And that's what we got. We didn't get the most like slam bang show, but we got a show that definitely showed us a lot, right? So we start with, they promoted a number of matches that were going to take place before the show started. I always try to catch the 10 minutes of the show before whenever I watch a wrestling show, because to me it's an indication of how much that station really gives a damn about the wrestling show. And TNT definitely puts out for AEW all the time. We had the intro. Our first match, Adam Page with John Silver and Alex Reynolds against Matt Hardy and Private Party. All of them coming out in cowboy gear was funny. Of course, they promote on multiple occasions throughout this show, but starting here, that next Wednesday, the show is going to take place at 10 o'clock approximately after the NBA. They're really getting their ducks in a row promoting the next 2 or 3 shows, yeah? A Killer Carl Cox reference by Jim Ross makes me laugh and makes me realize you would never hear that in the WWE, right? Basically the match goes on. Private Party hits their finisher. Hardy comes in and steals the pin, planting those seeds for whatever Hardy's going to do next. Yeah. They talk about how next week again it's going to be at 10 o'clock. Yeah. We're going to have Omega and Janela tonight, an appearance by Sting. Inner Circle against the Best Friends and Company. They Claimed against SCU. We're going to have Big Swole and Serena Deeb against Ivelisse and Diamante. That's interesting. And Cody Rhodes against Angelico. We get an MJF promo where he's talking about winning that award. Gives credit to Chris Jericho, but clearly does it in an asshole-ish way. We go to commercial. And as we're at commercial, Cody beforehand texts that there's going to be a big announcement when they go back to Dynamite about Brandy and he. And sure enough, they have a little vignette where they receive a Christmas present at their home. They open it, and it's a baby announcement. Super cool. And again, one of those things that AEW does really well, which is to make you feel a part of their quote-unquote family. Yeah. Second match, we get Cody with Arn against Angelico with Jack Evans. It's a good match. Really good match, actually. And I do like that you get to see a contrast of styles. And Angelico, they take full advantage of this with his submission wrestling. At one point, he gets that crazy-looking leg lock on Cody, but he manages to get to the ropes. Eventually hits a Cody cutter from the top rope and gets the pin. Again, nice seeing him win with a variety of moves. Taz and crew show up. They're going to whoop on Cody after congratulating him about having a baby. Sting shows up, which kind of ends everything. I like that they had Will Hobbs approach Sting but have to be held back. I like what that says about Will Hobbs. And then that's all we get, which some people will go like, they're using Sting too much. No, they're using him without giving us too much. That's what you do. Now, does this mean, man, they're going to have to do something with Sting soon? I agree. But they're erring on the side of not doing things just to do them. And I'm okay with it. We hear that Eddie Kingston's going to come out next. Commercial. We come back. We have an interview with Miro. Alex Marvez, who's out a couple of times tonight, explains that Miro is fined $75K, $25K for each referee or basically person on the staff that he hurt. Miro talks about Orange Cassidy. And that Miro on Dark is going to take on Sonny Kiss. And on Wednesday, going to have an announcement about the wedding between Kip and Penelope. Okay. Eddie Kingston comes out, says his enemies are God and others, and Pac, who they've injured and taken out, and Lance Archer as well. As soon as he says Lance Archer comes out and starts swinging, which I actually think is kind of awesome. Butcher and Blade come out. Eventually, they start to overwhelm Lance, but then Pac comes out, and the Luchas come out, and then a big hubbub. Eddie and Butcher and Blade get out of there, but Lance at one point has Eddie at his mercy, but Pac comes up and kicks Eddie in the face, and Lance doesn't like that too much. So we're, again, planting the seeds without doing something right then and there about a potential thing between Pac and Lance Archer. Cool. Dasha is interviewing Dustin, and basically he challenges Evil Uno for next week. See how we're setting things up? Instead of spending half the show promoting the other half of the show, we're spending half the show promoting really what's going to come akin to the next 3 weeks of programming and setting the stage. Best friends come to the ring, go to commercial. We come back, and the Inner Circle comes to the ring, minus Wardlow. Wardlow apparently had some kind of family incident, so he couldn't be there, and they were upfront about that, which I thought was interesting. So Orange Cassidy, instead of it being a 7-on-7, it's a 6-on-6. Oh no, that's so much less confusing. And Orange Cassidy goes to commentary where he has his headset unplugged and doesn't say anything. Great. That's on brand, as the kids say. Best friends with Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., known as the Something Blondes, and Top Flight. Match goes on. The long and short of it is MJF pins Griff after he takes a bat shot and takes another hit, and MJF comes in and steals the pin. So that's two things where somebody's coming in and kind of stolen the pin from their team without earning it. Again, I just urge AEW to hire somebody /me to make sure that we're not repeating things. We don't have to do this. We can get to the places that you want to go without repeating spots. Alex Marvez, again, interviewing Thunder Rosa, who basically talks smack to Britt Baker. Out comes Reba, who is not having it. Thunder Rosa's distracted. Britt Baker beats her down. Talks some smack. Calls Thunder Rosa ugly. And that feud continues. Match number 4, SCU introduced. Then we go to commercial. Acclaimed comes out. And I did not think I thought their battle rap kind of thing kind of fell apart at the end on Dark. This one's good all the way through. The CD is outdated. Media line is funny. And then they go at Frankie Kazarian. And Kazarian hilariously takes the mic, raps off beat. But what he has to say is really awesome. And this match is the one that felt like it had instant heat. Again, chalk that up to SCU, who really did their level best to put the Acclaimed over as a big deal and make this match feel important. They get a split screen, and then when they come back, the Acclaim, using their boombox, get the pin, which actually shocks me, and then challenge the Young Bucks, who really seem to sell what the Acclaimed are saying and look genuinely upset, and then they accept the title challenge from the Acclaimed for next week. Look what they're doing, setting things up in advance. Wonder why their ratings are doing so well. All right, and Top Flight does a promo, basically going, because MJF and Jericho kind of put the boots to them at the end there. The Top Flight challenges MJF and Jericho. What the fuck? Wow. Match number 5, Ivelisse and Diamante against Serena Deeb and Big Swole. Serena Deeb, of course, is the NWA Women's Champion, and Big Swole is ranked really high up there. They get a split screen as well. They get a promo for a Scorpio Sky podcast of sorts called Wrestling with the Week. Interesting. It seems like it's a gamer thing, but also talking about pop culture, a.k.a. every YouTube channel out there. But that's cool. We'll see if I'll check it out. Swole wins with her Clearwater Cloverleaf, which makes me laugh because I'm in Clearwater like 2 days a week. And then Deebs cuts off Ivelisse. I like little touches like that. But then Nyla Rose comes in and just runs over Serena while Ivelisse and Diamante are attacking Swole. Red Velvet, hits the ring and decks Rose with the chair, and everybody's yelling at each other. More shit set up potentially. Doom. The best friends talk about Miro. This is the weakest segment. God, this Miro video game feud shit is just not clicking, guys. It's just not. But the best friends in Orange Cassidy do their level best to go, well, when you make this wedding announcement, we can't wait. Fucking terrible. It's awful. They emphasize to us that next week they are at 10 p.m. after basketball. They say it yet again. And we're going to get Jurassic Express, all three of them, against Colt Cabana, number 5 and number 10 of the Dark Order. Going to get FTR and Tully immediately interrupt, which I think is kind of cool and breaks the usual pace, right? And they threaten Jurassic Express. Oh, cool. And next week we're going to get the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed. Jericho and MJF is confirmed against Top Flight. Sheeta's going to be in action. Dustin and Evil Uno. Wow. Pac against the Butcher. And then, so that's going to be, and then on December 30th, we're going to get the first part of the New Year's Bash. And on January 6th, they're going to have part 2 of the New Year's Bash. And they're already announcing that Jericho is going to be the commentator for December 30th. Boy, getting stuff lined up. And then they tell us the no DQ match for the title, or not for the title. This is another thing. They weren't very clear about it. During the match, they said, well, if Joey Janela can win this, then he'll get a title shot. But they implied strongly that this was going to be a title shot. Again, they need someone to pick up these details. It's small stuff, but it's an indication of things people not being on the same page, and you don't want that. Yeah, Joey Janela with Sunny Kiss there versus Kenny Omega. The match is a lot. Joey Janela gets a lot. But after reading the Young Bucks book, I get their connection to Joey Janela, and I can see why. And it's just the way Kenny Omega is going to be. He just doesn't do squash matches, but he does win in decisive fashion, certainly. And then Pac confronts Kenny Omega with the microphone and says, Rey Fenix technically never lost in that tournament. Though when Pac said, so why should you be the champion? I thought that was fucking weird. Again, it's just like, just stuff that doesn't quite connect. It seemed like the evening was full of that kind of thing. But the long and short of it is Rey Fenix will get a title shot at Kenny Omega on December 30th. So now we've built up next week's show, and we've built up a big stuff for the 30th show. If AEW, let me tell you this, if they can continue to pull high ratings for them, even with a show like this, which was basically a setup show all around, then their momentum is legit and will continue to roll in spite of being at 10 o'clock next week. That's another good little test for how things are going. Anyway, this has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite for December 16th, 2020.